Plaintiff Sarah Berger met the defendant when they were both incarcerated, and they became best friends. However, Sarah claims recently the defendant has fallen back into her street mentality, and she's suing her today for the balance due on a car. Defendant Kayla Watkins Crawford says she and Sarah were best friends, despite the fact that Sarah slept with her ex when he and Kayla were dating. Kayla's countersuing Sarah for a refund.
Start with you.
So I met the defendant in 2011 when we were both incarcerated. I was incarcerated for a possession charge, and she was incarcerated for being in a car that was caught selling to an undercover.
Possession of what?
Possession of Xanax. We both ended up doing the drug court program, and we were later on released on different releases. I was released on time served, and she was released on probation. We stayed very close after we got out. We got jobs, kind of did the whole thing. We even lived together for a short amount of time. We went so far as to get matching bestie tattoos together. And at this point...
we should get those, me and you.
How about it? You know what happens when we fall out?
I don't know. Yeah. put an X through it.
Oh, man.
So we were living together, doing everything together. And due to recent activity, I just feel like she's not following the same ways that we were, and she slipped back into her old ways. I've done everything from loan her money before to bail her out of jail again to...
When was the last time you had to bail her out of jail?
About a year ago.
Mm-hmm. When you say old ways, what are you referring to?
Like street ways.
Use of drugs or just street life?
It could be either or.
Or both.
She's been kind of shady, so I wouldn't know.
Shady.
All right, let me hear from you.
I mean, she did stay with me at a point in time, but she also tried to sleep with my ex-boyfriend at the time when we were together, when she stayed with me.
When was that?
8 years ago.
Mm-hmm. What did you say to her?
I decided to forgive her. I mean, people make mistakes. They both owned up to it. I separated from him. To me, I guess his loyalty should have been a lot more to me than hers was. Mm-hmm. I don't put it past a lot of females. That's just the way the world works nowadays. Like, that's how women are. When you have friends that are women, they tend to do those kinds of things. They tend to be flirtatious with
your man?
With my man, with men in general, people that I've talked to. So I don't really associate.
Your circle, because that doesn't happen.
I mean,
that doesn't happen with all the women I know.
I mean, this is why I kind of keep to myself now. So when she says I'm being shady, I guess that's more so why.
Were there other things you all were falling out about?
Just minor disagreements, other than that major one with my ex. Mm-hmm. There weren't a whole lot of disagreements early on in the relationship.
She may be back involved with drugs, are you?
I mean, I smoke marijuana, but that's as far as my
hard drugs.
No, that's as far as my any drug interaction goes. As I smoke marijuana.
Because she says 1 year ago you were in jail.
That was I ended up going to jail for a ticket that I didn't have that I needed to pay off, and I got picked up for the warrant because I didn't have the ticket paid off.
How long did you have to serve?
Just a few days. It was just a fine that I had to pay off.
Is that true, ma'am?
Yes, it's...
Well, you act like it was associated with her past. And now I hear that she was in there for a license violation.
Plaintiff Sarah Berger is suing her former friend, who claims Sarah slept with her ex when they were dating.
Do you have any other reason to believe that?
Well, just because we don't communicate as much anymore. And every time I hear from her, she needs money, she's in jail. I wouldn't know what to think. I wouldn't know what it was about.
Do you know whether she's working?
I do know that she is working.
Okay. I've maintained a job since I got out of jail.
Why do you keep asking her for money?
I mean, I'm a single mom with 3 kids, and right now I'm on a fixed income. I make salary.
Pay child support?
No.
You don't have 3 kids, and none of them can pay your child support.
I have the same father for all 3.
Your whole circle is bad.
For all 3 kids.
Your circle of men, your circle of women.
Right now, I'm trying to just focus on what I need to do to be stable for them.
Well, you need to sue and take that father to court. That's what you need to do. First thing, so that you can have them in a neighborhood that's not crime and drug infested.
Absolutely.
Are there a lot of crime in your neighborhood? Are there good schools in your neighborhood?
The schools are not the greatest. The kids are really rough. I think the kids are worse than a lot of the adults.
Yeah.
They're really vicious with my children.
And that's what happens when you live in an impoverished area.
Yeah.
Poverty breeds crime, drugs, If you're angry all the time because you're poor, because of all the other challenges in life, then yeah, you're about that far from always wanting to have a fight. And stepped on my toes, I'm ready to fight. You were ready to fight anyway because you walk around
Already
angry. So get your money so you can get out of poverty.
Absolutely. I've definitely worked my way up management
I'm
since I
not
got
talking
out
about
of there.
you.
Well,
Get it
I'm
from
just
that
saying in
man.
general. I'm just saying in general. I mean, I don't worry about what nobody else has going. I can't make anybody do for
Yes,
their life
you can. Yes,
what
you
they
can.
don't want
You
to
can
do.
go
I've
to
tried.
court.
Well, yeah, I've tried to negotiate with my baby daddy.
All right, tell me about the car we're suing about. You know, always go off into other directions that are more important than small money. Well, it's not small, $5,000 isn't, but I think these children are more important than $5,000.
No, I absolutely agree.
Okay.
In regards to the car, in 2017, she asked me to put a car in my name for her. She had already been down at the car place, already negotiated everything with them. I was essentially going to be the co-signer. The problem is with me being the co-signer and her still being on the car, it wasn't going to save her the money on the down payment that she wanted because she was still on it. So the car had to be solely in my name. So I agreed to put the car solely in my name for the time being. She said the money on the down payment was going to give her the extra money she needed to be able to make the on-time payments, to get the plates, to do everything she needed to do for the car.
So tell me about what occurred regarding payment.
So she gets the car. First month payment comes and I don't hear anything from her.
When is this again?
This is February of 2017 is when we originally purchased the car. So I'm like, well, it's in my name. They said after 6 months, you know, we could change it over to her name as long as everything was kept. Let me go ahead and make the first payment.
But in the meantime, I had been trying to get in contact with her. With her work schedule in mind, I wasn't allowed to make any sort of payments on the car because my name wasn't listed on the application. Every time I contacted her, she never contacted me.
She was dodging you. She didn't want the money. Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't want the money I had already paid. You're right.
She kept calling to pay you. You didn't want your money.
She definitely did not keep calling me to pay me.
What else you want to tell me?
So
which other month?
The next month comes and I cover that payment. A week later,
you didn't answer the phone?
She hadn't been calling me.
Didn't call you
she hadn't been calling me.
What happened in March?
I mean, every month I would call her, and after a week or so of trying to get in contact with her, like I work 50 hours a week, she works 50 hours a week. Between my schedule and her schedule, I have 3 kids at home to take care of. So when I get off of work, my priority is to go home and take care of them.
You didn't know that she worked that much and you worked that much before you put that in her name and stopped paying. You had no idea how many hours you worked.
No, we both were aware.
So you knew all this when you stopped paying this woman. You knew all this when you had this woman put your car in her name, risking her credit. You can find her address and send it in the mail. Do you take money by mail?
Sure.
All right, go ahead. What's the next month, ma'am?
So, anyways, later that month, for the second month, she does get in contact with me and she does give me a payment.
How much? The full payment?
The full payment.
For that month or for the other month as well?
I'm not really sure.
Pardon me?
I'm not really sure.
Well, you need to be sure if you're asking for some money.
But that month was covered. That's all I really cared about,
Go
okay?
ahead.
So, you know, even at this point, I'm like, okay, for 6 months, if we got to go every other in 6 months, the car's going to be...
Tell me what happened the next month.
The next month I covered it. We get into the 4th month, and at that point I told her, I was like, look, it's getting really hard for me to cover all of these.
And what did she say?
She told me she was going to get in contact with the car place and make arrangements, even if she had to spread out the payment. No, they continued to call me.
Okay.
Plaintiff Sarah Berger is suing her former friend, who claims Sarah slept with her ex when they were dating.
Ma'am, do you recall this discussion?
When I initially got the car and I tried to make the first payment, they told me I'm not an authorized user on the account. So upon that, I had asked Sarah to add me to the account so I can call in. She doesn't have to make those payments.
Do you remember the discussion you had with her?
Yes, every discussion I had with her specifically.
You had more discussions.
I've had several discussions with her
between February and May.
Yes, so
you had several.
Yes,
you don't remember telling me you couldn't reach it?
No, when the first payment came
Don't
due.
you remember telling me you could never reach answer.
when the
That's why you
payments
never
were due.
paid her.
When the payments
Go
were
ahead.
due,
Your
yes,
claim
sir.
is your claim is dismissed for perjury. Yours is granted. I believe you, number one. And number two, she has perjured herself, telling me that she could not reach you or talk to you. Now suddenly she talked to you all the time during the time she owed you. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff. Your claim is dismissed.
I guess we just go from there. I mean, I didn't realize that, I guess she really felt the way that she feels. So I guess maybe I need to step back and assess my friendship.
I mean, I did what I needed to do. I covered the car I couldn't pay, so I shouldn't have put in my name anyways. So from here, maybe, we just go our separate ways. Maybe if life brings us together again, we come back together.